I kind of, okay. Last time I kind of, he was having these trotting spurts, which is kind of, now that we're getting more comfortable with each other, I'm starting to see where he's getting a bit rough, where he's having problems. Last time I really backed him up the entire way, but I don't think that helped the behavior. I think it just aggravated him more. So I'm gonna ask for a bit more turning this time and experiment and just asking him to stop and turn and see if that will help. But worst case scenario, if your horse is not like necessarily insane, but he is out of control and won't listen to your aids, the best thing you can do sometimes is just get off. Sometimes it's just not their day. Sometimes he's too wound up. Sometimes there's so many variables because they are another live animal and you're an animal. I mean, not an animal, but you are an animal or whatever. You are also, like, you're both living, breathing, thinking things. This is not like a bicycle, if you will. That it's very easy to control and manipulate. And horses will have their days, and you can try and train them through this day, but sometimes they just have such horrible days that you can really either change the subject or try to end on the best note you can and call it a day. Sometimes you gotta ask for that 1%, you could say. Have not had that moment with him yet, but I do know there's some crazy barn sour horses, or like not crazy barn sour, but they, you know, they're how would you say this? It's definitely one of their weaknesses. I wouldn't say it's one of his, because I wouldn't consider him, like, he acts very barn sour. Like, I guess if you were to take his like his, what would you call it, temperament and how he's acting and like the remedies that he's doing, it would look like he's barn sour, but he doesn't want to go to the barn. He just wants to run home and then continue running past home. I think he takes it as more as a reason to be really excited, because he walks right past the house, even though we just had a tantrum down the road and I thought he was just gonna blast off home. And like I said, a lot of it also has to do with your mentality, how your body language is on the horse. I mean, I've seen the difference from riding very stiff to riding very loose. It makes a huge difference. I mean, it's outstanding the difference it makes when you ride with tense arms compared to when you realize you're riding with tense arms and you focus on riding with loose ones. The difference is outstanding. So it not only has to do with your physical body posture, but it also has to do a lot with your mental body posture. I've had times where I took my mare on a trail, which is the one screaming that was left behind, and I thought a bear was going to jump out and eat us, and it was our first trail ever, like outside in the middle of the woods. And we also don't have we don't have internet connection out here. I'm not going to try and say the big word and fail. So that makes it a lot more nervous for me, especially, you know, because if something happens, I can't really call or text someone. And if there's a thunderstorm, I can't even call 911 if I tried. So we're on SOS. We have Starlink, so by our camper, we do have internet, and I can call people and whatnot. But when you're out in the woods trailing, good luck. You're really out in the middle of nowhere. But my sister wanted to try cantering today. So you up to it, Anya? You want to give it a try? All right, I'm going to take off running and just yell if you want me to stop. But if you think you got it, just go, girl. He seems pretty going nice and easy right now. I'm going to ask him to go straight into the canter. See how quickly he can do it. Canter. Oh, easy. Gosh, this guy is bouncy. So my sister's behind us right now. I'm just going to run along like I normally do. Hey. Oh, easy. There you go. You're going, girl. You're going. And he's getting a bit spicy. Look at you go. He does not like that she's in front. He's definitely an in-front horse, I can tell you that much. Oh my gosh, I swear this horse. Easy, easy, easy. I need to work on my own seat. Oh, I was sore from last time we took him trailing, so I'm definitely not in my prime. So, fun, right? You did a good job. Oh. Anywho, but yeah. Today is kind of a chill day. We'll probably just be taking a round. Maybe we'll go and trot some circles, run around the place like a bunch of crazies. That's what we do best. I was out here last night, and I can show you the branch that almost took me out. I think. I'm actually not that sure. Anya, turn. I don't want to turn into your butt. Thank you. I know, they're starting to come out. He's a bit prancy. I'm just going to ignore it. I don't feel like picking a fight right now. I believe it was this branch right here. Oh, I didn't even see the dead limb there yesterday. That was the branch that took us out yesterday. I have glasses. I had glasses last night, but it was so dark I couldn't see anything. So today I'm going to try and work on this weird sourness again. So you see, the second he faces home, he kind of gets sour. Last time I did circles out here, he ended up bucking. His first real buck with me. And I guess you could say, I stayed on, of course. I'm also bareback. Like I said, I will tell you. So you see, he's being really prancy right now. And I don't want him to be. And I feel like the more I fight him, the more energetic he gets. So today we're kind of going to just zigzag it. Pretty much, that's the thing today. I am going to stop him if he breaks out into a full run. But if he's just prancing, I'm just going to kind of half hold him till he stops. I'm not going to necessarily ask him to stop right then and there because I think that didn't help. Now, I can't help your horse. Like I said, when I train and when you train any horses, they're all different. They have all sorts of different moods that day. I mean, you never know what you're going to get with a horse. It could wake up feeling like, yeah, we're going to be real broke today, or it could wake up being like a bronc. And you, A, don't know, and B, the best thing you can do is experiment with several different things while you're riding. Some things might come out better for you. And I think that's like one of the things that's really annoying about when you look up YouTube videos while you're training horses. Because I train horses for, I didn't have another trainer. I knew nothing about the other world except for YouTube videos for 2 years before I took any formal class, anything. All I had was my mom's wife, who had a husband who was our farrier friend, and he trained horses for a little while, but he did Western, and I wanted to teach English and jumping. So my main things I used was YouTube and Instagram. If I saw an Instagram video, they both poop, that's funny. I would try and copy that. But there is several things I've learned, and this is the same way when you're trying to train your horse too, that there's many different ways you can train a horse for specific things like barn sourness. And there's many different things you can experiment, many different exercises you can use, and none of them work better than the other. It really depends on your situation and your horse, which can be very different and can vary very much. Which is why sometimes having a trainer, like, your instructor really helps, because you can go ask them, I have this and this problem, and they can give you a bunch of different exercises. Or you can always just send your horse to a trainer. I've never done that because it's really expensive, and I am cheap, and I don't have the money to afford it, and I don't have the money to afford nice horses, and I don't even have the money to afford a nice saddle. But I'm not even going to try and afford one because I don't ride on them. But the thing is that you have to try many different things, and that's what I'm doing today. Yesterday I tried something. It didn't work out great. I tried actually many different things yesterday. None of them worked well, and one thing didn't work great, but it worked. But I don't feel like it will fit this sort of situation. It kind of only fit that situation. So today I'm going to try, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just ask him to go to a walk when he does something wrong or he starts speeding up. I'm just going to half hold him to a walk. And so far it's working out a bit better, but you see he just breaks out running randomly. And I think it just has to do with him having, yes? I know, I see that. I think it has to do with him having a really good go. Yesterday I backed him up every time he went forward, which is a very good exercise that does work on a lot of horses, but it's not working with him. So I tried another thing yesterday, and it did work well, but it's not necessarily something I think I can use at all times, and could be a bit of a hindrance at moments, like if I were on a group trail. So as you can see, he gets very energetic on the way home. So I'm kind of just gonna wander about this woods in a walk. I'm gonna ask him for that walk. If he breaks out running like he just did now, I'm just gonna half hold him back to the walk. We're kind of just gonna weave through these trees on the way towards and away back home, really having no other path than where I choose to go. And it seems to be working so far. I'm not getting any head throwing or any annoyance to the situation. Always half halt a lot while you're going over puddles. He's pretty good with them. He's not gonna jump them. Had him jump one puddle, but that was it so far. Yeah, and I'm just kind of gonna weave through the trees. I would like to get him to the point where we can run through here, back and forth through the trees, but that's gonna take just like what is it called? Just doing it very often. Getting him used to, because right now he's on a one-track mind, partly my fault, because I don't take very long rides. My rides are 30 minutes max. They normally are 20 to 30 minutes because I do a lot of running because it's good exercise for them. But my mistake was I would run all the way up the road and then we would turn around and go back down the road. We weren't necessarily running down the road, but the mind track now is that as soon as we're up the road, we turn around straight away and go back home. And that's sort of where his mindset is right now. And like I said, his barn sourness doesn't make total sense either, because he will run home if I were to let him what he wants to do as soon as we hit the end of this trail, and he will continue to run past home. Don't understand it. Don't know why he does that. He just does. I think maybe part of it might be that we normally trail home. I'm not sure why he acts the way he does. But that's what I'm figuring out right now. I'm just asking him the bare minimum. We're just walking in circles like lostly with no really end goal in mind. Here we did just one big looped round. Make him walk through that puddle. I've noticed that one thing that does seem to really make him want to run is that when we're going uphill, he likes to run uphill. Don't know why. Guess he enjoys it, gets some sort of kick out of it. How would I know, this horse? I've only had him for 2 months. So he's just now starting to trust me. And I've noticed with horses, let me just explain this. Let me make sure I'm not also putting my phone. I've noticed with horses that a lot of times they can, oh, what was I going to say? I just forgot. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess. Right, I remembered. Is that you can have this horse and you can be riding it for a month, and then randomly one day it just starts acting much different, and all of a sudden it starts acting a lot worse. And if you're having trouble with a horse like this, that you bought this horse and it was real sane and it was real broke, and it did all these cool things and it was real neat, and now all of a sudden after like a month or a few weeks of owning him, or 2 months, which is what you were at, he starts acting not as broke as he was before, and he's not doing the things he used to do, and you're starting to see the bad side of him. And that a lot of the times is because at first, this horse doesn't know who you are, and he is now, there's 2 reasons for that. He's now just getting comfortable to you, and he's willing to act like he is acting right now, and you start seeing how this horse really is, and there's nothing you can really do about that. That's just him getting comfortable around you and not being as scared as to do things with you. So it's kind of a good and bad thing. It's that A, he's trusting you. B, what's B? Oh, but B, he's starting to get more comfortable around you. He's willing to do like his normal habits, if that makes sense. And the second reason that could be is that training is like riding a bicycle with these horses, is that if you don't continue to train them the things that they already know, they'll forget them completely. Not completely, but like they won't do them no more for you. Which is a very common thing. You can buy a horse that was very broke to reining, and you can be good at reining too, but if you're not constantly teaching this horse everything he knows. So right now he's acting very erratic right now. He's acting very bad. He's starting to really get in that mindset of we're going home. So I'm going to turn him around and we're going away from home now. Anywho, you can buy this horse and realize that even if you buy an expensive horse, you can't ride this horse. And a lot of the times you can lose a lot of training. And training is maintenance, truthfully. If you don't maintain its training, it's going to not do the training. It's like when you don't stretch your legs every day and all of a sudden your hamstrings are real tight. It's the same thing. Trust me, I learned the hard way. You don't stretch every day, you get really bad back pain. So you could be as flexible as a bee, but if you stop flexing those tendons every day, they're going to get real stiff again. And that's a big thing with training that I think not a lot of people realize, is that when a horse has a lot of training, it's also a lot of maintenance. You know, a trail horse doesn't have too much training. I mean, it's still a lot of training for an animal, but it's not like, let's say, for instance, a dressage horse who knows all these different moves. And if you don't practice every one of them all the time, he's going to either get bad at a lot of them or forget about it. And you have to redo it, relearn the bicycle. So, yeah. So it can be a number of reasons.
My autopilot broke.
I know, mine too. He was doing real nice until now. There can be a lot of reasons why your horse all of a sudden is not working the way you bought him. Now, I expected this. I've bought in 2 horses now that I've ridden. I've seen many horses, ridden many horses. The first ride could be glorious, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on could be absolutely horrible for many different reasons. I sort of learned this lesson with a horse that I was very interested in buying. It was with my classes, and he was a off-the-track thoroughbred, but he had been trained by a lady. And the first time I rode him, he was wonderful. I mean, he was just wonderful. But he also had a buddy in the ring. And the second time I rode him was just me and him. Okay, right now he's just completely blowing me off, so I'm going to really correct him. He just won't listen to this ring now, so really get on him about that. Okay, he's starting to lose it again. He's starting to get very sour. Again, I'm not sure why this is. He's very much engaging with me, though. I just asked about this a few minutes ago. Like I said, I don't know the reason behind why he's doing this. It's a bit dangerous, in my opinion. I don't want him acting this way. But, anywho, wonderful horse the first time I rode him. And the second time I rode him, he was like a completely different horse. And I was riding him for lessons. He was just for sale. And the second time I rode him, I had a lot of trouble with controlling him. And it was a very different way than I'm used to riding. But then again, I've never ridden a horse like that before in my life. I actually went and counted how many horses I've ridden. And they've been from lesson ponies to green horses to all sorts of different type of horses. Few reining trained ones. The only horse I don't think I've ever ridden was a really nice dressage horse, but I've ridden barrel horses and all that. And I've never ridden that way, the way the horse was trained. And I think it's just the way the lady trained him. But I found it very difficult to cope with this horse from the second time I rode him. And then I rode him a third time thinking maybe it was a bad day or something. And truthfully, I realized that I did not get along with this horse very well. And that's the thing, another thing with horses. You can buy a real expensive horse and then you can sit on this horse and realize, I am not comfortable with this horse. It could be the brokest horse on earth, but you have a personality, and this horse also has a personality, and sometimes those personalities just clash. And I have noticed this. I mean, my mare is wonderful. I think she's wonderful. I love my mare from the ends of the world and back. But my sister's mare, which is the one she's riding right now, I hate riding that horse. And it has nothing to do with how broke she is or her being gated. I just hate her, right? Like, not in a bad sense, but I would never ride her. I'll go out there, I'll brush her, I'll love on her, but I would never ride her. Trust me, never. And I just want to point out, by the way, that I'm not asking this horse this entire time since we got off the road to run. This has been all him running around. I'm just kind of making him do circles, asking him to calm down, and I'm just going to ride this out until he overexerts himself all on his own. And once he's tired, I'm just going to go and correct him. But right now, I'm not going to fight him too much. I'm kind of just going to control his eagerness, because right now my sister's mare is only all the way on the other side. Anywho, as I was saying, I really dislike my sister's mare, but I love my mare, and they're both that's my sister's first pony, and my mare is my first pony, and I love my mare. But my sister gets on her, and she can't ride her. She hates her too. Like, not in a necessarily bad way, but like, when you sit on that horse, you and that horse can't cope. I can cope very well with my mare. I cannot cope with my sister's mare, who's actually more broke than my mare. So yeah, anywho, as you see, he's really flipping out. I'm getting a little worried I might fall off, but I'll manage. I'll manage one way or another. Anywho, I'm really gonna turn him in a circle. He's not listening to this left rein at all. Oh, what, you don't like turning left no more, huh? Now we're gonna do it to the right side. Sorry, Mr. Howard, about your grass, but my horse is being a mule. He's acting like a mule right now. He's being a bit stubborn. Like I said, I am just now discovering all these ugly sides of him. Now we're finally... Now, surprisingly with him, I have noticed that he rides better by himself than with another horse. He's very independent, but at the same time he gets very buddy sour, but at other times he's willing to just run off without the buddy. It's a very weird, like, he's a bit bipolar, I must say. He's constantly just flipping the switch on me. One moment he's barn sour, the next he's buddy sour. One moment he's like, forget the other horse, let's run home. The next moment he's like, forget about the house, let's run to my buddy. And at another moment he's broke as I don't know could be, you know. And at other moments he's just very erratic for no reason. So it's a very weird mixture. And it seems the farther away from the house, the better he is. The closer we get, the worse he is. But I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to concentrate on him. I'm going to explain to you while I do this. I'm letting him run at the moment. I'm not going to stop him. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start barreling some trees. That's what we're going to do. We're going to learn to barrel, because he's acting like an insane barrel horse as of this moment. So yeah, we're going to barrel trees. This ought to make him a bit more cautious about running. You never know when I might turn him around, and that's going to want to make him. And it's also going to add to him being very sensitive and ready to go at any moment, ready to turn. He already is very much